Alrighty boys, welcome back once again to another video. How you guys doing? Guys, today we're going to be talking about Frostnite 2019 and why it's seemingly just such a huge disappointment of a game mode this year. In a video around 3 to 4 days ago, I had talked to you guys about the blog that Epic Games had come out with, talking about the trap changes and the Husk AI and the hotfix that they had implemented. And in that video, I voiced my concerns about how it would affect the game and especially Frostnite. And I told you guys that after I completed Frostnite 128, I would report back to you guys with my opinions, and I've completed Frostnite 128. I ended up running it with Deathgrip and Nedcut and Moonlight on twitch.tv, which you should totally check me out. We got like 22,000 followers over there, a huge community. If you want to go ahead and join us, you definitely should. It's a cult, it's actually not. But yeah, link will be in the description for that. And that's probably why you're seeing my face cam up here instead of down there. It's because I don't record raw footage, so it's literally just stripped from the Twitch stream like 3 days ago. So yeah, that's why the face cam's really weird. But we ended up running Frostnite 128. I got a lot of opinions to talk about in today's video, and some of it concerns the trap rework, but not all of it. I mainly just want to talk about the general topic of why Frostnite 2019 is such a disappointment, and Frostnite 2018 was just so much better. So before we do jump into the video, and I'm sure you guys are sick of this, I'm almost sick of it too, G Fuel code is 30% off. It's 30% off the entirety of December. If you pick up anything, please send me a tweet so I can follow you and put you in a video. It's just a really good way of supporting the channel. They're an energy drink company. I like energy drinks. I like their product. It's a win-win, and they're the only sponsor of the channel. If you guys would like to support it, demonjoefr at gfuel.com for 30% off. Make sure to tweet me a picture, and I will love you long time. If you don't, that's okay too. But let's go ahead and jump into the video and talk about why Frostnite is such a disappointment this year. So, after we had completed Frostnite 128, the first thing that had ran through my mind was that, hey, that was a fun experience. And I would be lying to you guys if I said that Frostnite 128 overall for me wasn't a fun experience, right? It was actually enjoyable to be able to run Frostnite 128, be able to use my guns, be able to use my abilities, fight alongside my traps, and upkeep the base in a way that I wasn't able to last year. However, there is a trade-off with that, because for those of you guys that don't know, they had done the trap changes, they changed some Husk AI with Propanes and Smashers, and they also did a hotfix making Frostnite 128 have really low Husk scaling in terms of power level. So by wave 20, you were fighting Husks that were the same level as they were in wave 8 before the hotfix. And at wave 20, your Husks are going to max out at power level 227. And it's kind of an issue in the sense that it makes Frostnite 128 too easy, because that's the entire purpose of Frostnite power level 100, if you catch my drift. Frostnite power level 100 should be that mode that you can play and get through really easily and not really need too much communication and just have a good time, like I was just describing to you guys. Frostnite 128 should really be that mode where it makes you want to punch your pee-pee over and over again. Like, it should be really, really difficult, but extremely satisfying whenever you complete it. And because of the hotfix, it just really isn't that. So I'm going to go ahead and go into a list of why I think Frostnite 2019 just doesn't live up to its predecessor. And just kind of go over a few different things. And you guys can also sound off in the comments and let me know what you guys think. But let's go ahead and jump into it. So to start off this list of Frostnite 2019, we're mainly going to be talking about Frostnite 128, the power level 128 mode, as that's kind of the main appeal to Frostnite. I want to go ahead and start this thing off with a pretty simple and pretty obvious thing as to why it's a huge disappointment, and that is that there is literally 0 rewards for running power level 128 Frostnite. Literally 0, and I'll explain myself. Anybody that's running power level 128 Frostnite, which will be the in-game players, people that play this game a lot, we don't need gold and we don't need tickets. And that is all that Frostnite 128 gives. It gives gold, and it gives tickets, and it gives measly amounts of perk up and reperk that you can get even more in a regular 4x mission at power level 76 in Twine Peaks. Because keep in mind, this thing lasts an hour and a half, and you'll end it with like maybe 200 legendary perk up. which is abysmal, you know, in terms of rewards. But going to like the tickets and the gold, don't even get me started, because the activity's an hour and a half and you can run like a 10-minute dungeon just a few different times and you would have like double or triple the amount of rewards in terms of tickets and gold. Anyone that's an in-game player doesn't need gold. They have at least like 25,000 and up, and even if they don't have that much, they definitely have enough each week to get everything that they need, right? And we definitely don't need tickets, because in the new llamas you get 3 new weapons, 1 new hero, and the rest of it is just stuff that came last year. And so for most people this won't apply, but even if it does, you probably already have everything from the llamas before even running Frostnite 128. So Frostnite 128, compared to the 2018 version, you know, this 2019 version we have, doesn't have any good rewards or no reason to actually run it, because mainly there's just no banner, there's no schematic, there's no loading screen or music pack or any real incentive to even do it. The reason that Frostnite 2018 was such a big deal is because it came with a really iconic banner, and for some people it might not be that big of a deal, you know, it's just pixels on a screen. But I'm telling you right now, that just isn't the case. If you were to go to Fortnite DB and, you know, go look at the leaderboard that they have on that website, and it might be a little bit different now, but let's go and rewind a few months before the new dungeon banners and stuff came out. You would go and see the top players in the world, and I guarantee you at least like 30 to 50% of that leaderboard in any given category just about would be the Frostnite 128 banner from 2018. That is how big of a deal that kind of stuff is, because players need a way to show off that, hey, I did this, it was, you know, a triumphant moment, it was super cool, and I got something really cool to show people out of it. It doesn't affect gameplay, it's not going to affect you in any way, it's just, hey, it's an exclusive banner for people that were able to run a super hard activity, and you don't even get that in 2019. There is literally zero reason to run power level 128. But let's talk about something that doesn't even apply to 128 Frostnite. Let's talk about the Husk AI and the trap changes that were made, because I know that I told you guys that I'd update you guys about how I felt about it. The trap changes overall, they're alright, you know, they're okay. I don't really mind the gas traps being, you know, nerfed or anything like that. I don't mind that floor launchers aren't able to damage, or wall launchers can't punch smashers to where I need them to be, because mainly the power level scaling is already so low that it doesn't really matter anymore. But the main thing for Frostnite 128 was propanes, and I'm gonna tell you this right now, propanes aren't challenging, they're just plain frustrating. It is 100% luck based on whether or not your tunnels are going to get exploded. It doesn't have to do with anyone on your team, it doesn't have to do with bad tunnel placement, it doesn't have to do with bad, you know, trap placement or accidentally shooting, you know, a propane or anything like that. It literally just comes down to luck. Maybe your gas trap didn't crit on the propane husk when it needed to, and that caused him to blow up because he wasn't able to die. And stuff like that is frustrating. Even with sound walls, you will still consistently see a propane blowout every now and again. It's just not challenging, it's just not fun, it's just frustrating. And that's one of the things that really annoyed me in the run that we did. Another thing that's kind of annoying but also kind of good at the same time is the randomized locations that are given in Frostnite 2019, where you'll load in and it'll be like a different landscape around the burner every time. It's a good thing in the sense that it spices things up, and it's a bad thing in the sense that some spawns are literally so bad that you have to leave and join back 3 to 4 times to actually get a good one to actually complete the run. So that's another thing that's really frustrating. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and propose a solution to Frostnite 128, or, you know, Frostnite in general as a game mode, right? And, you know, the other versions of Frostnite power level 100 and the versions that are under it, those are just fine. I don't really have much of a problem with them aside from propanes and the random locations affecting them, but we really need some sort of incentive to run Frostnite right now that is outside of just gold and tickets, right? And I get it, we're going to be getting weekly challenges in the coming weeks, and, you know, we'll be getting mainly returning stuff, but every now and again we'll get something new. We got like the toy Outlander in the game files, the hydraulic bow, a shark rocket launcher, and a vendor tech bow. You know, that'll be pretty good for some weekly challenges. But then again, you just run it one time during the week, and then the rest of Frostnite is kind of worthless to run again. But here's my proposal to making Frostnite 2019 a better game mode. We need power level 140 Frostnite in this game. The husk scaling is kind of abysmal for Frostnite 128. It's pretty bad in the sense that it makes things a little too easy. If Epic Games were to implement a Frostnite power level 140, where the husk scaling would go to 250 to 270, it previously was 300, if it went to around 250 to 270 for a power level 140 Frostnite, and you literally kept everything else the same, but introduced something to actually play for, like a banner, something as simple as a banner, I would be pretty satisfied, honestly. I really would be. I would run, Frostnite power level 140 until I completed it and keep running it. Once I got that completion, I would actually feel satisfied and be happy, and it wouldn't really matter as much to me. But as someone who's an in-game player, it's really just a big middle finger, to my face and to a lot of other people's faces with Frostnite this year. Whenever you're developing a video game, you need to make sure that you balance the casual audience and the hardcore audience, right? And Frostnite this year was completely disregarding everyone that's a hardcore player in this game. And that's not something that you want to do. You don't want to isolate the people that play your game the most. And casual players are very much needed for the life cycle of Save the World, and for any game for that matter. But for Frostnite 2019 this year, Epic Games catered to the casual audience with some weekly challenges that are coming up, the new llamas and being able to get, tickets and gold and some of the returning stuff, and then completely gave the middle finger to the hardcore player base by literally giving us 0 things to do. And it's very frustrating to me. Being able to run the hardest, Frostnite version that there is and getting 0 rewards that even benefit me whatsoever is so frustrating. Whenever 2018 at the very least had something to offer me, 2019 does nothing but spit in my face and say, hey, I know you've been waiting for me for a year now, but I'm just not going to do anything. You're gonna have to play me once a week to get a new item, and that's all I'm gonna be to you. I'm not gonna give good rewards that are better than the normal missions. I'm not gonna give good rewards that are better than dungeons. I'm just gonna give really terrible rewards with returning items and absolutely no incentive to run the hardest mode. And that's what Frostnite 2019 is. With the husk scaling for 128, it's pretty fun. Like I said, being able to use weapons and abilities and fight in my tunnels and stuff, okay, it's a little bit more enjoyable than 2018 was. But whenever there's no incentive, right, when there's 0 incentive to even play it to begin with, it's really frustrating, man. And that combined with stuff like the propane changes and everything, and the lack of something that's an actual challenge after you get done playing it a few times, Frostnite 2019 is just kind of a mess in my opinion. It's good in certain areas, but man, I know for a fact if we were to able to get a power level 140 version with higher scaling husks, even with the propane changes and the current AI changes, the husk and the trap changes, people would enjoy power level 140. The hardcore audience would actually have a reason to play, and it baffles me that Epic Games hadn't added anything like that as of yet, or even thought about it. But that's pretty much it for my video, guys. It was just kind of a little bit of a rant. This was just a game mode that I've waited so long for, and to just get slapped in the face a little bit didn't feel really good, man. It didn't really feel good, and Frostnite for me is just something that exists, but I just have really no reason to even play it at this point. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. Those are my thoughts about Frostnite this year, my thoughts about the trap changes affecting Frostnite and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm sorry if this video was just a little bit too ranty, but I just had to get that off my chest, and I haven't made a video in a few days anyways, so I hope you guys did enjoy. But guys, that's pretty much it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe if you're new. Make videos like this almost every single day. And I'll see you guys next time.